I'll kick off, I'm jokingly calling her Chelsea Fox because we see in the pods she compares herself to Megan Fox. Now, all the girlies on TikTok and Instagram have been like, "Oh, I kind of see it. She kind of looks like her."
She does
No,
like
she
Megan
does.
Fox. Let
She
me tell
does
you.
not. She does not.
First of all, if she had darker hair, and I just think it's her facial structure. Like, if you look at just her eyes, nose, mouth, like here, you can see the resemblance. And if she had darker hair, like someone did it, someone on TikTok like shifted her face structure and darkened her hair, and she looked exactly like Megan Fox. I mean, I don't think this whole thing was just blown way out of proportion. I mean, if you want to compare her to any celebrity, I mean, that's someone that could likely, like, she could most likely look like out of all the celebrities I know. And I feel
Let me
like
see. Let me
people
see
are
if I
just,
can pull this picture. Keep talking. But I'm gonna see if I can pull this picture up as
yeah,
we're
people
talking.
think it's just this out of this world absurd
Yeah.
resemblance. Like, no, they definitely have a resemblance. It's not like twin, like they don't look exactly the same, but she resembles her a little bit. I agree. um
It
yeah,
won't let me. It won't let me pull it out. I was trying to mess with it a little bit, but
yeah,
it
they
won't let me pull it out.
should not have talked about, like, what's it called, they should not have talked about how they look in the first place, but because they did that, now it's a whole thing. But she does look like her a little bit.
No, if she looks like any celebrity to me, she looks like Molly Ringwald.
I don't know. Let me Google.
Like literally,
Like 16 Candles Molly Ringwald or older
yeah,
Molly Ringwald?
Oh,
older.
Older Molly Ringwald. Interesting. I don't know. There's no celebrity. Megan Fox is just wow. Like it's hilarious to me too. No, I don't know. Like when somebody says you look like somebody, like it's more than just like oh they have the same eyes, right? I like to me it's like it's a whole aesthetic. Like your entire like you look like this person. Like, to be a lookalike, in my opinion. Like if she said people tell me I have the same eyes as or I kind of look like this. She did say no. Her saving grace. She did say I don't agree with this,
yeah.
but like just don't say like this is who I look like. You know what I mean? Like
That's how Jimmie took it out. Jimmie was like, "Oh, she looks like
Oh,
Fox. Let's go." But see, he played himself because she wasn't saying she looks exactly like Megan Fox. She was just saying she resembles her a little bit, and she didn't even
yeah.
agree. So
Yeah, I don't think she'll like Megan Fox, personally, but it's not an issue. I don't look like a celebrity either, so it's not a big deal. Um,
you do look like a celebrity.
I don't look like Sean Kingston, not anymore. I used to. I used to look like Sean Kingston. He looks way different now. I wish I could pull him up. My face, anyways. Um, so but yeah, Jimmy and Chelsea Fox. So they get together in the pot, and we see Jimmy have a kind of a battle between Jimmy and Jess. In your opinion, who should Jimmy have chosen between those two girls? Because I have a thought, but I want y'all to give y'all's thoughts.
Well, like on the surface, like even after they getting, are you talking about after the pods, like possibly
Pods,
after the pods of how
pods,
they
in the
begin?
pods.
Okay. I think on the surface it was like, oh, Jess was probably more perfect for you. But at the end of the day, I think Jimmie and Chelsea, they are what each other needed.
Interesting.
And
Why is that?
I don't think that Jimmie could have handled just being a mom
Okay.
personally, because he kind of freaked out when all I know he freaked out when Chelsea said that she was divorced, but he really kind of freaked out when she was like, I have a kid. And he just couldn't fathom in his head, like, dang, she got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Z.
think so. I think what I think his thought process was basically like he had these two women, and from what I understand, for him talking about Jess, he was like, number one, she's very fiery, spicy. Like she wasn't really comforting him the way he wanted to be comforted. I feel like Chelsea gave him that. So she was very like blunt to the point, like a little bit aggressive with him, I guess. And I guess he didn't really like that. Which I don't know. I don't understand. I just think she's just outspoken. I don't think she was necessarily like mean to him. And another thing, I do agree with Jasmine when he talked about like he was a little freaked out about the fact that she had a kid. So I think he was just weighing his options. He was like, okay, Chelsea makes me feel good. Plus, she probably looks like Megan Fox, and I have this other girl. I don't know what she looks like, and she's a little bit mean to me. Plus, she has a kid. Like, who am I going to choose in that situation? So I feel like with the information he had, it would have been right for him to choose Chelsea. But us looking at it like hindsight, we're like, Jess was probably perfect for you, because I really do feel like they would have been perfect for each other, especially after she shared that letter with him. And it was like, I was like, that's a wholesome moment. Like they could have really worked. So yeah, I just feel like it could have worked with Jess, but it also couldn't have not, because she was a little spicy and she could have, scared him off. I don't know. But I just feel like with the information he had, it was best for him to choose Chelsea.
Yes. So I think he made the right decision by choosing Chelsea. And here's why. In my opinion, based off what I've seen, Jess is very well spoken, but I get serious mean girl vibes from her. And what I mean by that is the fact that post the show ending, Laura, 100%, I get mean girl vibes. She got done dirty by Jeremy, but I get super mean girl vibes from Laura, and the way she kind of like was like telling Jess, "Oh, that's not your man," situation. That was weird. But the fact that she's friends with Micah right after the show wraps up, like they have a connection, lets me know the type of people that she is. Like Irina and Micah were the mean girls of season 4 in Seattle, and nobody liked them. Nobody liked Micah and Irina. So the fact that Jess congregates towards Micah just lets me know birds of a feather flock together. And I, like you talked about in the pods, he mentioned that she was spicy, quote unquote, or whatever you want to say. I think personally, she's a beautiful girl, but I think she gets away with like her looks because she is beautiful, that she can kind of treat dudes however she wants to. At least that's how she's done. At least what I think. This is my thoughts. I don't know this girl at all, but based off me watching the show, she can get away with treating guys however, and they stick around because she's good looking. But nobody ever builds that substance of like a long-term relationship with her because of her attitude. In that she is this mean girl, but she does speak very well, so she covers her bases. But I think at the depths of her, like off camera, she has this like attitude that I don't agree with. That's my thoughts about Jess.
I think Jess is a writer. Like, yeah, she's a little spicy. Yeah, she could be like a mean girl, but I think she's a writer for her dude. Like how she presents herself, how she gave her all to Jimmie. I think she would have wrote for him through the whole thing and gone through the whole marriage thing. Even though I don't think they were right for each other, I think she's a writer.
See, yeah. I think sorry to cut you off, Z, but I think that the best thing that happened to Jess was the way this ended, because now everybody and their mom is fans of Jess. Versus if it had played out with Jimmie and Jess and they saw all of Jess, I don't think it would have been the same. Personally, I don't think the reaction would have been the same. But that's me personally. But go on, see.
No, yeah, I was just saying about the mean girl vibe. I don't necessarily see her as a mean girl. I just think she has a thick skin because she's probably gone through a lot, and I just feel like she's protective of herself. Like she has her walls up. She's protective of herself and her daughter, and I feel like that was with Laura. I feel like I get mean girl vibes from Laura, absolutely 100%. But with Jess, I just think that she was just. First of all, she was hurt, taken aback with everything. But like Jasmine said, she poured herself into the process. Like she gave him that note. Like she was like, I'm gonna marry this man. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. I don't think she was necessarily mean to him. I just feel like he was more just comfortable with Chelsea, and he didn't want to deal with the nuances that came with Jess. But I feel like as a person, I don't necessarily. She's a girl's girl from what I see. Like I feel like she's a girl's girl. But she's just that friend that would tell you how it is. She's that friend that's like a little bit rough around the edges. People might think she's mean, but I feel like deep down she's not that type of person. That's how I see it. I don't necessarily. I feel like you see the flip on the flip side, but I kind of see it the other way around. I don't know.
Yeah, because now her and Chelsea are like best friends.
Yeah.
And it after all the stuff that went down, you think that at a point Jess was like totally against Chelsea, but she really kind of wanted what was best for her. She's like, I get it, he didn't choose me. I hope, everything goes well with you.
Yeah, she did. She's I have no issue with her. I just think like in a relationship is a little bit different. Like when I say because Chelsea's also friends with Laura too. So like my thing is like I get Mean Girl vibes from Laura as well. So it's not just like a Jess thing, like Laura and Jess. So my mind is like, first of all, Micah. I did not like Micah in season 4. So the fact that they're friends is just these little trail of breadcrumbs that I'm following. Jess could be the nicest person in the world. She's all over social media. She's doing all these different things, and then we saw her at the obviously reunion, and she had her time. But it's just I don't know that relationship was weird. But Jimmie and Chelsea, their relationship, like the thing about Jimmie and Chelsea, two things. One, justice for Jimmie. This man on camera was doing his best. Now, off camera, they say like there's interviews where apparently he was out partying when they got in arguments, stuff like that. So if he's an asshole that he is when he's off camera, that's different. But on camera, I feel like the dude did as much as possible to show that he actually loved Chelsea because he often went out of his way to compliment this girl, tell her how much he loved him, like how much he loved her. At the honeymoon, telling every single person, I have the best relationship here. And it just wasn't enough for Chelsea because she was often in comparison mode. And there were some things within her that she talked about that there was like some like inferiority complex or she just wasn't confident. But I feel like Jimmie showed that he did love her, but everybody's just like Jimmie didn't love that girl. But it's like what else could he have done to show that he loved her other than telling her like all the time that he loved her? Like I'm curious on what you guys thoughts on how Jimmie could have done better.
I don't think he was telling her just to tell her.
Sorry, guys. Keep going.
He told her because she was asking him to. And all the stuff that I've seen outside of like him being on camera, he would never do all those things. And then he would do it while the cameras were rolling. And then she'd be like, do you like me? Yeah, I think you're the most beautiful thing. I think him saying that he had the best relationship was a cop out to try to say that his relationship was stronger than what it was. Honestly.
Yeah. I'm going to say that Jimmie deserves a freaking Oscar. Oscar goes out to that man because this man not only tried to convince everyone that he was in love with her, he tried to convince himself. Like he was literally trying so hard to make himself believe that he loved her, but we could all see through the BS. I feel like we could all see through it. Like, tell me why from the moment he saw her, just his reaction, body language, like body language experts can read him and see like just how obviously all this is speculation. We don't actually know how he was feeling, but how he came across was very disingenuous as far as his feelings towards her. Now, he was committed to the process and he wanted to make it work. Like he tried to convince himself that he loves her, but his actions were saying otherwise. And he was so quick to like call it off whenever, I mean, obviously Chelsea had her own issues, which we'll talk about, but as far as Jimmie himself, like he was so like, he was, I feel like he was one of those guys that they don't have the guts to break up with you. So they act and do everything they can in their power to have you like call it off. Right. And I feel like that was the vibe I was getting from Jimmie. I feel like he was telling everyone, oh, my relationship is the strongest while he was commenting on AD's body and just doing all this weird stuff. Like, come on now. Like he was just saying all that to convince himself and convince everyone watching. But I feel like we all saw through it.
And then also causing a scene at the picnic because Chelsea was like, oh, Amy and Johnny, I think y'all have the strongest relationship. And he got all upset. Oh, you don't think we're the strongest relationship? Like,
because he wanted to use that as an excuse again to make it not work. He was always finding excuses to make this not work. Like he was always.
So my thought as a guy, my thought is I know guys like Jimmie. Like that will say they just say whatever's on their mind. And here's how I imagine his thought process is I am so like we're so solid that I can talk about anything and like we just joke about anything. Like his comment about AD, he treated, I guess also because he has female friends, he treated her. Well, he also has guy friends too. He posted about it too. So it's like the show only showed the female friends, and there's a reason why there was drama. But because he talked to her as if she was a female friend that wasn't insecure. We like us watching it. We know Chelsea's insecure as hell. But like for him, in the moment, I get this is my assumption. I don't know, but he's talking to her as if like it's just okay to say whatever about whatever. And the comment about AD's body, he said to her only. But Chelsea was so insecure that again, was the comment justified? No, you don't say stuff like that, especially to your girlfriend. But he just said it because I guess he felt like he's talking to one of his friends and their friendship because the relationship's strong. That's my thought process. But feel free to say what you're gonna say.
But would you be complimenting other girls like that around your girlfriend? Around your fiance?
So funny you said this. So my girlfriend will go somewhere and she'll be like, "That girl has a big butt," right? She'll make comments. I'm sure y'all have done this before, and with y'all's friends, comment on other girls. So what's the difference?
I feel like he should have read the situation better. Like when they were like all in couples, like all trying to focus on their relationship. Like, and he knows at this point, he already sees Chelsea's tendencies. He knows how she acts and how she reacts. But for him purposefully going out of his way to make that comment and just like, I feel like he wasn't really engaged. Like he was just like occupied with other things that Chelsea herself. And I feel like that's what was making her insecure as well, because other couples were like there to focus on themselves. Obviously, yes, they're interacting with each other, whatever, but just being so intuitive to your partner, I feel like he lacked that, and his actions weren't really showing that. Like that's why we were saying, "Oh, dude, was a green flag." What's his name, Kenneth? Just because of how he we'll get to that guy later, but just because of how he was acting towards is it Brittany at the time? And just like, taking care of like, hey, do you need anything?
Being attentive.
Was being attentive. Jimmie did not care. He was there to have a good time, drink, and just do whatever. Like that's what he was like in party mode. And that was hurting Chelsea because she wanted attention from him, which, she has her issues, but like, come on, he knows what he was doing.
Because it also came out too, because that even Jess and Chelsea both confirmed it made Chelsea look crazy that Jimmie went out for an hour and a half, but he goes out every night, and it came out and it made her look crazy because, oh, you're tripping over an hour and a half with her friends, dude, you go out every single night, and that's just what we don't see.
Yeah,
if he wanted to be with her, he would have been with her in the bed, not lying to her, FaceTime and saying, "Oh, I'm going to sleep." Phone rings, she gets butt dialed, and he's like, "Where's the party at?"
Yeah. That's not how a man acts if he's in love with you. If a man is in love with you, he'll go out of his way to make sure you know that like he'll go out of his way to show you that. But he wasn't doing that. He wasn't going out of his way. He was just going with the flow. And he was lying to himself that he loved her. He didn't.
So I'm curious. Because again, I'm Team Justice for Jimmie. I'm Team Jimmie. My boy did some stuff wrong. He said the wrong things. He reminds me, and somebody said this on Twitter too, and I was like, this is why like I have this affinity. But Jimmie reminds me of Cole. I don't know if you guys remember Cole from the season with Dallas.
No,
Dallas DFW. It reminds me of the same situation with Cole, to where everybody ganged up on Cole. Cole said the same stuff. He would say crazy stuff, but it's like he wasn't doing it out of malice. He was trying to show Zenab that he loved her, and then at the altar, Zenab goes off and they break up, and then the whole cutie situation. And so I've always been like Team Cole, justice for Cole, and in my mind, this is the same situation because like how else can you prove? Like he on the show again. We've seen interviews, posts, and everything like that, but on this show, we're watching it. He went out of his way to show her he did love her and be with her.
When?
He told her, he didn't show her.
So let's go through the honeymoon situation, right? At the honeymoon situation, at the party, he even brought it up himself when they started arguing afterwards. She was like, "You made me feel uncomfy." He wasn't Kenneth, but he did often come over to her to be with him, right? To talk to her, and then he would go party with everybody else. They come back and find her. They talked about. He brought it up, right? when they were at the house, they argued often. He went on party off scene. We didn't see that, but we often saw him talk about like with his family, with her friends, with his friends, how awesome the relationship was, how much he loved her. Like there was, it showed all the time. So like that's what I'm curious on. What do you feel like he could have done to show his love more, to show that he proved that he loved her, other than everything he was doing? Because I feel like everybody just dismisses the stuff that he did do for her.
I think the difference between him and Cole was, yeah, Cole was kind of crazy and he said wild stuff, but he was always like I'm kidding, I'm being goofy, I'm being funny, but he always did show Zenab that he loved her. The same is not the same for Jimmie. Like Jimmie was never, I feel like he said those things just to kind of cut it short with Chelsea and make things less uncomfortable than what it was.
Yeah.
Like he did it just to kind of reassure her, but I don't think he really meant it.
Maybe it's just a personality thing. Maybe that's just how he acts. We're not saying like Jimmie's a bad guy or anything, or he has to be like Kenneth and show his love the same way everyone else does. But we just had the feeling that you just know when someone's trying to like be invested and like to really make this work with everything. Like I just feel like he just wasn't, and maybe that was his way of coping, like partying and doing all these other stuff, like just being disconnected, I guess. But like that was what was driving Chelsea crazy, and a lot of people try to paint her as this like clingy crazy girl, which she has her issues. Like I said,
she was clingy. She was definitely clingy.
She had her insecurities, but I don't think he came out of thin air. I think he was definitely doing stuff that triggered some of her behaviors, and she just didn't know how to handle it. That's how I'm taking it, at least. But
because like the clingy comment, it's like him going out. It's her like, oh well, dang, you want to go out? Well, why don't you just want to be with me? I see why it seemed like she was clingy because she would have never seen that man.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Like, there's a lot that we probably don't know, but I'm just saying everything's not as it seems, and I don't think like Chelsea was like. I feel like they definitely exaggerated her whole clinginess and like craziness and all that. I feel like it was exaggerated because I definitely think Jimmie was doing things to warrant some of that. But I mean, I would never act like that. Like I'm an avoidant person. So if you're acting crazy, I'm not talking to you. We're not addressing it. I'm avoiding. Like I'm not being clingy or anything. I'm distancing myself. But some people, that's her attachment style. So I guess that's how she cope with the situation. But I'm not saying it's right, but Jimmie had his flaws. Chelsea had her flaws. At the end of the day, they try to make it work. It didn't work. It is what it is.
Yeah. Chelsea is very clingy. So I'm not gonna dismiss that. She is definitely clingy. And I get that Jimmie, he wasn't partying all the time. Because they both did an interview together. He wasn't partying all the time. He was out often, but it wasn't every single night the boy was going. He brought it up in the interview when they both did it together, because they talked about it together. That when they argue was the situation when he was out and the button down situation. They argued that night. Is it right? No, I'm not. Like I don't justify anything Jimmie did. I just find it so funny the adverse reaction to Jimmie online. At least what I've seen online. People have their opinions. My comments are just in contrast to everything that I've seen talked about from Jimmie online. Because for me, I'm like, I see what you guys are saying. Not y'all specifically. I'm talking to Twitter specifically. And I just don't see the same thing. Like I see it, but I feel like people just gloss over everything. But Chelsea, 100% clingy. 100% clingy in my opinion. There's so many times when like I don't know, it's her attachment style you talked about. She even brought it up herself, like there's insecurities. And I feel like the reunion didn't do enough to address Chelsea. No. Any of the couples. They addressed certain situations, but didn't bring up Chelsea at all. Like nobody ever talked about Chelsea's in this season at the reunion, which is crazy. Like at the reunion, because this is a transition to Trevor, but it was just like we want to make sure people know that this is a real show and not fake. So we're going to attack Sarah Ann not because she ran off with one of the guys, but because she made a TikTok about it being entertainment, because she was getting so much hate, she had to do something to deflect people. Let's attack that. Let's attack Trevor for not treating this seriously, and let's bring all these couples that now have a successful marriage, quote unquote, It didn't even like it just like it showed parts from the show, but they really didn't address nothing during the reunion other than that. Like I feel like
They,
that was the reunion. So
they gave too much to Jerami and Laura.
Yeah, no, they definitely that reunion was definitely a statement to everyone. It was definitely like if you come on this show, first of all, you don't feel like you're gonna mess with us and sneak around whatever Trevor did. But I feel like he deserved, being called out, but not in that fashion. Like they put that man to shame.
No,
He was speechless. Like no one
that was
deserves
that
like
was the best part of the year. That was so
no.
funny.
as much. He was humiliated. Like,
That
come on
was
now. What he did was dirty and he deserves to be like punished in some way, whatever. But what they did to him, that was a statement to people. Like, if you come on our show and mess up, we're gonna drag you through the mud, like basically. And that's the same thing they did to Sarah Ann. They were just like really defending their show at this point, and it was like they did not address a lot of things, and they wasted too much time on the whole Laura Sarah Ann situation. And yeah, the reunion it could have been better, but it was definitely messy since I guess that's what they were going for.
I think Trevor got what he deserves. The reason why I say that is because Trevor was all, oh, Chelsea, blah, blah, blah. You're the love of my life. You're da, 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 da. You're telling Chelsea you love her, but you had a girl before this whole thing started saying, oh, well, I love you, but I'm still going to go and talk to other women. Get out of here.
He said they were toxic. She knew what she was signing up for. Why is she staying with him then? If she they knew the situation it was a horrible situation. I get it. It was horrible. But they both going in knew what it was. And they both agreed to do that horrible thing. So it's not just
go ahead, keep going. Sorry, let me cut you off.
no, I'm like, it's not just Trevor to be blamed. Like, Chelsea dodged a bullet, absolutely 100%. But he definitely deserves to be like, they could have spoken on it and like made it more like, but they brought receipts. This man was speechless on live TV.
Yeah, because here's the thing: you don't bring the receipts, and they sit there and lie about it. Well, then what? And then we're gonna get mad. Oh, well, they didn't say enough about what was supposed to be said about Trevor, and then we let him off the hook.
Yeah.
In other reunions, they're like, oh, well, they didn't talk about this and they left this off the hook. They should have told him about now it's the same thing, and you're like, oh, y'all persecuting Trevor. Nah, he got what he deserved.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool with the Trevor situation. That was my favorite part of the reunion. I just feel like because of that, like that triggered them bringing on other people, so they felt the need to like bring on like I don't give a damn about Kwame and old girl. I could care less. I care less about Micah. I could give a damn about Micah. Like there's all these different people, huh?
Gigi.
I was like I don't even remember this girl. So like yeah, I don't remember. So like that's that my thing was like.
Kwame's facial expression was definitely creme de la creme. Like he, like that was me the whole time. Like his facial expressions definitely like gave it a little spice. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I did not need to know about all of them and their lives. We can get that information in social media, but they skipped over a lot of people. And yeah, we should have known. Like they didn't even ask if Jimmie and Chelsea were still together, like if they worked out, like different things like that. Important information we didn't know. So
are AD and Clay still hanging out or what? Like, things like that.
Okay, speaking of Chelsea.
No. Let's keep single Chelsea, Jimmie and Chelsea. We'll get to AD and Clay.
Okay, speaking on Chelsea, a lot of people said Sarah Ann is a pick-me. I definitely feel like Chelsea and AD, talk about AD later, they're both pick-me's just because if this man is causing you this much turmoil and he's showing you all that, like he doesn't want you, you're still clinging to him, you're still like doing everything in your power to like make it work, which I get is part of the show, but it was definitely giving pick me energy. And a lot of girls talk about girls being pick me if they're not a girl's girl. That's one aspect of it, but the other aspect of being a pick me is if you're doing everything in your power to make a man who clearly doesn't want you to want you. Like,
I disagree.
Let it rest. That's why people are saying she's clingy. That's why people are saying she's like all these different things, is because she was trying too hard. And AD was doing the same thing. I'm sorry. I love them both.
Let's put a pause on that. I want to bring this back. I want to bring back this point up when we get to either Sarah Ann or AD. But I just want to wrap up Chelsea and Jimmie. We spent a lot of time on them. So would you guys have preferred that Chelsea and Trevor get together and Jimmie and Jess get together? or
No.
did you like the fact that it was Jimmie and Chelsea at the end of the day?
Jimmie
I
and
would
Chelsea.
prefer them both getting together with other people. But now that we know the situation, especially with Trevor, we don't want that. But in an ideal world, that would be perfect.
Yeah. So prior to the reunion, I thought they messed up. I thought Jimmie messed up. Not because Jess's looks. Like everybody's stuck on like looks for the show. That's what throws me off too. Everybody's like, "Oh, they look so good." It's like it's a show about personality. Who gives a damn about what they look like? But Jess, I was really hoping Jess and Jimmie got together, and then Chelsea and Trevor. Because Trevor, in my opinion, and now we know post reunion, maybe he didn't really love Chelsea, but in the pods, he really loved that girl. That's what it seemed like. And I was really hoping that they got together. And one of the things that broke my heart with the pods that they showed was when Trevor was like, if I had gone first, would you have said yes to me? I was like, damn. Because that's probably what she probably would say yes to Trevor first. I think, personally. Because Chelsea just wanted anybody to love her. Like I don't think she was confident enough for somebody to love her. And the fact that one person told her she loved him, whatever she loved her, she was very surprised. That's why she broke down. And then the fact that there was two, she was like, "What in the world is going on?" So, anyways, that's my thoughts. Last bow. Let's put a bow on Jimmy Chelsea. Any final thoughts on the relationship or anything I just said?
I thought that my TV froze when Trevor was sitting there like.
They put that man to shame.
That was hilarious.
Trevor is awful too. I don't know what he was doing. He got caught and he was thrown out into society and was demolished. I feel kind of bad for about that. And I don't think they really should have done that to him, but I mean that was ruthless. But he did say he was gonna do it and like stand up and like be there. He didn't have to, but he took it and he was
I
like,
don't think he knew that was coming.
Terrible choice.
he did. It was everywhere before the
Was it?
reunion. Yeah.
Because he said I had a whole speech prepared and now I don't know.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
He just was like blind. I think he didn't think it was gonna be that ruthless.
In the spot, he just didn't know what to say. I don't know. Like I like if I would want to give him the benefit of the doubt, like it would be okay. I get it.
What benefit?
No. Like the point of he was saying like I wanted to change it up. There's a lot of people that say like I go for this, but I want to try it out in a different way. Like, I want to go a different way, and so it's just the only thing of saying like I love you at the end and everything like that. Where it kind of trips me up, but it's like I want to like maybe give you a little bit of the doubt, just saying like okay, I wanted to try something else. So I went to this show and to do it, and I guess since he didn't find nothing, he's like all right, I need to go back where I was at. And like you said, he was just toxic. So I think that was just. I don't know. It's weird. Like I love like I don't know. In the past, he was such a nice dude. So I look like I want to give him like small bit of the doubt, but it's like I don't know.
He almost got away with it. He planned.
He really did.
Just like Clay, he planned things. Like he planned.
I wonder who aired him out though. Like I wonder if it was his ex-girlfriend. Like she was just spurned and she was like, "I'm gonna air this shit out."
That's
like,
crazy.
Get these texts.
What was hilarious?
Oh, really?
What was hilarious when he was like, "Oh, can I go?" And Nick is like, "No, we're going in." Now you.
No, they put that man to shame.
I feel
He was
bad.
stuck.
But
That's what he gets. Yeah, that's what he gets.
Yeah. You gotta reap what you sow. So it's like that. He deserved it. Like that. Everybody, Sarah Ann deserved it too, but they went too hard on them. Trevor, fine. And then other couples at the reunion, I was like, bro, what are we doing with this? But
They took too much time on.
Sarah Ann deserved everything she got, and she still deserves what she's getting now. But besides the fact, Chelsea, I can't with her run, and I can't with her face.
I noticed
she said, "Not me running in heels," and then she said, "Run into Jimmie."
I saw the first time she did it when she ran to Jimmie, and then I noticed it again at the part when her friends came over. I'm like, babe, she's got a weird run. And so like I noticed it, and then it was actually a thing. And then online it was a thing. People were like roasting her and stuff.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
And then Megan, I don't know why she had these. What is it called? Realizations of she looked like these celebrities. So then her friend said Carrie Underwood, and I'm like, you don't look like any of those people. And Carrie Underwood and Megan Fox don't even look the same. So like, how is that? How do you look like both of those people?
Maybe
see Yasmin? No, that was Z. Z said she sees it.
I see it. I see the.
Oh my
God. Megan Fox. Come on, like it's just because of how her face is. She's like, a little chubby around the face. If she had a chiseled jaw and darker hair, I would see it, honestly. It's just because of her face anatomy and how
You can
she
see her body though, her whole body, not just like one
body is
It's her
feature.
body though.
Like
It's her
everything. That's why her whole body.
but facially, like if you look at
It's
her
just
eyebrows, her eyes, her nose, her mouth, she kind of looks
If you splice this up like Heckle and Jekyll or if you Frankenstein her face, you remove the chin. If you remove her chin, you splice her face a little bit.
if she was
You kind of squint and see it. Turn your head sideways.
a whole
I
like
love it.
she went to the gym or something. I don't know. Maybe she might.
Wow.
I'm serious. I'm just being real.
I don't think it's her size. Like, there's people that are bigger.
Why were you talking about her jaw and everything? Like, it's the same thing. Like,
she has a big chin. She has a bigger chin than Megan Fox does.
Yeah.
It's not nothing to do with like size. Like, you can't work out your chin. Like, that's bone. Like, no matter what, she works out or not, the bone's gonna be there. She has a big chin. That's just that's why people call her Natalie Nunn. People call her Natalie Nunn. And I was like, the only thing I see there is just a big chin. There's nothing more than that.
No, I mean if that's the case with them, I mean obviously we never know what goes on behind actual like real life. We only see like what is shown. But yeah, like I just think that was, I guess, a little bit overboard. She was really clingy with him. I don't think they're compatible with each other by the way that they both were and how they receive love. She's a very like I need love in the type of way like I need you to tell me you love me, touch me, and all this other stuff. And he's a very like you stay there, like maybe like acts of service kind of person. So yeah, they're not compatible in that way. Jess, I don't think she should be on these shows if she's not going to let her daughter watch them. I think that's the dumbest thing. Like, no, she's not watching it, and then she's going to go on another worse show, The Perfect
Right.
If you watch that. So I'm like, you're trying to be a role model and find a man for your like your little girl to like follow and like be like her dad or whatever, and you're going to go.
That's a great point.
You're not going to watch it. What? You make zero sense.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Jess is very. This is the point I made earlier. I'm gonna kind of spice some of this stuff up so it seems a little more even. But Jess, I was not a fan of Jess. She's very well spoken, but again, I feel like she's part of the Mean Girls Club in this show, similar to the other people, Zenab included. But Jess, that's a great point. Like, why, if you actually were on the show for love, why are you going on this other show where it's just trash? Right? Like, is she just trying to elevate her fame at this point now? Because she is famous. Like, I looked at everybody's following. Everybody, she has the most following on everybody now. And then AD, I think, is second. Everybody loves AD. So that's a great point you just said. Because why are you going to this other show if you're actually trying to find love, like you said?
Yeah.
I don't agree with her philosophy on that. Especially her, her whole thing was, I have a daughter and she's 10 years old. And I'm trying to find someone to be my person and to step in that role kind of like in our lives. But yeah, you're not going to let her see the episodes that you were barely on for one. And then you're going to go on a worse show, which makes zero sense. But
there are some actually good people that are going on The Perfect Match. Like Cole will be on The Perfect Match, Siobhan.
Let's hope.
I don't want to see my boy get his heart broken again. Like, that's like, I've never watched Perfect Match. So I don't know, I just know, they bring other people from other shows that didn't work out. So it's I don't think anybody's going to work out, on that show. It just seems like entertainment.
The first people that did get engaged on The Perfect Match, they're split up in a month. So
I don't see that working out. It reminds me of, is it called The Hottest Match? What's that show with the teenagers? Where they can't, they're these party teenagers, they can't have sex, they're here to, really find a match, and if they don't, they lose money. You've watched the show before, Jasmine.
Oh, what'd you say?
That's what that reminds me of.
Of Lana.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter.